Alright guys, so today is solving equations. We're talking about solving equations, which is something that you should have done. I believe they start in 6th grade, but I might be wrong. You definitely do it in 7th grade. You did it in 8th grade. We are skipping solving one-step equations. You had a little quizzes about that. You were able to do that as many times as you needed to do, but we are not talking about one-step equations. If you have this, if you've printed or have a printer and have printed these notes at home, you're going to fold it in half, not completely in half, fold it so it meets the words solving two-step equations. Again, if you don't have one, you're going to write these down. But if you do, we're going to fold it in half, and then we're going to cut on the dashed line, but not all the way through. Cut on the dashed line, on the dashed line, on the dashed line. So that, zoom out so you can see the whole foldable here, so that you can open the flaps, okay? So I'm going to open the first one. Those of you at home that don't have anything, a printer, do not worry. I will leave it long enough so you can copy it, but open inside because the number 1 is the same as what's inside number 1. So we're going to do number 1. Now, what you need to know and remember, because like I said, this technically should be a review, but if it's not, that's okay. You don't have to tell me, just work really hard on it. We always are going to move, or not necessarily move. Yes, we are moving. We're moving it to the other side. We're moving things, numbers that are not directly connected to variables first, always. In order to do that, we use the opposite operation. If you remember, I've got operations, multiply, divide, those two are opposites, and add and subtract, those are opposites. So here's my variable. I'm going to cover it up. I need to first move whatever is next to this. To move that over, I'm going to do the opposite. So I'm going to do plus 11. And when I mean move over, I mean to both sides of the equal sign. I can draw a line here if I need to. Plus 11. Okay. And then I'm going to actually do that. So I got rid of negative 11 plus 11 is 0. So it cancels each other out. And I have 6x. I'm going to bring that down. Equals 11 plus 31 is 42. Okay. Now, I have 6 times x. That means times there. So to undo multiplication, I'm going to divide by 6. So I'm going to have these. 6 divided by 6 is 1. X, so they cancel, equals 42 divided by 6 is 7. So my answer is x equals 7. I'm going to write that over here a little better as well. X equals 7. That's what I'm going to be looking for. In your homework on Edulastic, you do not have to type in x equals, I don't think. You just type in the number, unless it asks you to type in x equals. All right. We're going to try letter B. 1B. It's a good idea to pause it and try that yourself, but whatever you need to do. So, I draw my line right here. Here's my variable. I'm going to cover it up. I'm going to subtract 7. Bring down the negative 9x equals 25 minus 7 is 18. Going to divide by negative 9 to undo negative 9 times x. And I'm going to get x equals 18 divided by negative 9 is negative 2. You are allowed to use a calculator now, so you can use one if you need one. Okay. X equals negative 2. All right, these had no fractions in them. Now we need to talk about when we have a fraction. Okay. I want you to notice something. Example 2 and 3 and 4. In example 2, I've got x in the numerator of a fraction, or x divided by 3 here. And in here I have 1/3 times x. And here I have x plus 3 divided by 6. Notice that these are all different types, but we're going to treat them the same. You always are doing opposite operations anyway. But the first step is going to be a little different on example 4 as compared to these two. In these two, we're still going to do what we did up here, which is move over this extra piece here first. So that's what we're going to do. So open example 2. If you don't have a printer, write down 2A on your, I didn't tell you what page, on page 8. Okay, so here's our variable. We need to move what's not directly with it, and that's 12. So it's negative, so we're going to add 12 to both sides. You do not have to draw the line if you don't need to, but if you need to, please do. Okay, bring down x over 3, or x divided by 3, equals negative 14 plus 12 is 2. When you have x divided by 3, or any variable divided by 3, you need to do the opposite operation. Well, the opposite operation of divide is multiply. Make sure you do it to both sides. So you are left with x equals 2 times 3 is 6. The reason that works here is because 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 1x is the same as x. Okay? Slide this over. I want you to try 2b on your own. So pause if you need to and work that one out. I'm going to subtract 8 first because that is what's going on there. So x divided by negative 2 equals negative 7. Again, it's x divided by, so I'm going to multiply by the denominator, negative 2. X equals negative 7 times negative 2 is negative 14. Example 3 is going to be very similar. We're still going to do the same first step, which is always to move the number, move the constant that we talked about yesterday. So example 3a. If it's the exact same, we move the constant that is not directly connected to x, that is 7. I'm going to stop drawing the line since I don't need it, but if you need it, you keep drawing it. Don't forget to bring down the equal sign though. 1/3 x equals negative 2 plus 7 is 5. Okay. If you have a fraction like this, we are still going to multiply. We are going to multiply by the reciprocal. And the reciprocal is just the fraction flipped, 3 over 1. The reason this works is because 3 times 1 is 3, and 1 times 3 is 3. Well, 3 divided by 3 is 1, which leaves us with just x. Now, you can use a calculator. You don't need to because I'm going to show you why, but you can use one. There's a video on how to get a fraction on the calculator. See, I could just do 5 times alpha y equals 3 over 1 and press enter and get 15. But here's what else you should know. This is the same as 5 times 3, which is 15, divided by 1. So either way, x is 15. X is 15. 3b. Go ahead and write that one down. Try that one on your own. Just like before, we're going to move the 9 first. Subtract, because that's the opposite. 2/5 x equals 5 minus 9 is negative 4. just like before, we are going to multiply by the reciprocal. The reciprocal is 5 over 2. Again, you can use a calculator. There's a video on how to get a fraction. X equals 4 times 5, negative 4 times 5 is 20, negative 20. So negative 20 divided by 2, that's negative 10. So either do it in your head by hand, something like that, or use a calculator. That is your choice. So far they've all been the same. You're going to move the extra constant, the number all by itself, kind of like a third wheel, get rid of that, move it to the other side, and then do the opposite operation with whatever's sitting next to the x. Well, the problem with that is, if I'm sitting in a situation where there's a divided by over everything, then my first step is going to be different. I'm going to have to undo this divided by 6 first. And the opposite operation of division is multiplication. So on problems like this, where everything is divided by something, I'm going to have to multiply first. I'm not multiplying 6 times x plus 3. I'm multiplying 6 times the whole thing. But what happens is the 6 and the 6 here, they divide. 6 divided by 6 becomes 1. So I don't change anything up top. In the denominator, it just becomes x, in the numerator, it becomes x plus 3. Equals 2 times 6 is 12. Okay. Now you can move over that third wheel extra piece hanging on there by doing the opposite operation. Plus 3, minus 3. X equals 12 minus 3 is 9. Okay. 4b. Again, pause the video, try it by yourself. You need to know how to do these on your own because you do have a quiz on Friday over the things that we have learned Monday, Tuesday, today, and tomorrow. Okay? Right? First, we have everything divided by something. So we need to multiply by 5. So we are left with x minus 17 equals negative 4 times 5 is negative 20. Negative 20. Alright, next we need to move the 17 over by doing the opposite operation. So we're going to add 17. X equals negative 20 plus 17 is negative 3. Okay. We're going to glue this in your notebook. Of course, if you did not have a printer, you wrote this in your notebook on page 8. And I'm going to tell you the title for page 8. So here's page 8. I don't think you can see it, but it's coming. Page 8. The title is 2.2 Solving Equations. And we're going to glue this one in. We'll do page 9 tomorrow. Just going to glue this in right here. Remember, if you need help, you can join the Google Meet today. You don't have to join the Google Meet if you understand. But if you do understand, go ahead and start the homework. You're doing the 2.2 homework on Edulastic. You were asking me if you need help, either through Google Meet or you can message me. Just let me know. And once you got it glued in or you've got it written down, you are good to go. So go start working on something else. And I will see you tomorrow.